Hello.
The city of Townsville. I'll try to emulate how the narrator does it.
I can tell.
Well, I binged a CN show. I binged last month. I binged a Cartoon Network show that we plan to talk about this month. Just like with Ed and
Mm-hmm.
Eddie. And from the title,
Yep.
now, all right. So, yeah, let's give a little bit of our history about the show.
All right.
So, how did I get first exposed to Powerpuff Girls? Well, it's simple. I just randomly came across an episode on Boomerang back in around, I guess, 2014. I guess when I was at someone else's house, and the
Mm.
most I really watched the show was maybe a couple of episodes from that godawful reboot in 2016, which funny enough also aired on Boomerang,
Hmm.
which led me to wanting to watch to finally. And when it was finally on Tubi, I decided to watch the entire show to completion. And no, I'm not binging through that god awful reboot, which we will be talking about later on.
Yeah. I had in preparations for my own review on said reboot. I binge watched that show last year. And that's mainly because of the fact that in the past, I initially wrote off the reboot as not being the worst thing ever until I decided to go ahead and rewatch it because of all the fuss, to see if my opinion changed. And yeah, that reboot is awful.
This all right, and to give you and since last year we talked about friendship is magic, it was only fitting that this show had the creative minds of Craig McCraken and Lauren Faust and Jenny Trevakovsky.
Yep, and just like with some of the other Cartoon Network shows that we come to know and love, this show actually began as a short on What a Cartoon, alongside the other early Cartoon Network shows such as Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Bravo, Cow and Chicken, and of course Courage the Cowardly Dog.
However, However, its success wasn't soon to last because, unfortunately, much like Dexter's Lab, it went through a seasonal rot, to put it lightly.
Yeah. Though that sees though as we've seen with SpongeBob in the past, that seasonal rot era was mainly due to the fact that Cartoon Network, this show basically became a cash cow for Cartoon Network to the point where when Craig McCracken and Lauren Faust left the show, they gave the show running duties to Chris Savino, whom also worked on the last two seasons of Dexter's Laboratory, ironically enough, and ran the show into the ground.
And to say what we know about Chris Savino today, considering that he created the Loud House and given what he did behind the scenes, yeah, it's hard to say that seasons 5 and 6 of the original series it kind of aged like milk.
Mm-hmm. Although, as soon as 2005 came along, the show was finally put to bed for good. That is until Cartoon Network repeatedly tried to revive the series.
Yes, with two specials. One of them was it from 2008 with the Powerpuff Girls Rule, which Craig McCracken was involved with, and the last time we ever saw the original voice actors was with Dance Pants. And there was also that anime that came out as well. Powerpuff Girls Z.
Although it was created by it was done by some of the same people who worked on Sailor Moon.
Yes, and even Craig McCraken gave approval to this series.
Also, rest in peace, Tom Kane.
Yeah, he will definitely be missed, as he was responsible for the voices of Professor Utonium, and of course, him.
Yep. Though, too bad that Professor Utonium's character got utterly assassinated in that god-awful reboot.
So, Sean, what was your first discovery of Powerpuff Girls?
So, my first discovery of Powerpuff Girls was that even back in 2008, Cartoon Network was still trying to revive the series so much that I actually remember seeing advertisements for Powerpuff Girls during the commercial breaks. It was either with the DVD of the complete series, or it was with one of the marathons that Cartoon Network did. Given that they often reran the show in marathons from time to time.
All right.
Hello.
All right. Yep.
We're talking about the how we first got introduced to the Powerpuff Girls.
Well, I saw Powerpuff Girls through promos, and I saw some bits and pieces in that Christmas special, but never got around to watching it in its entirety until now. And watching the full series, I watched the first 4 seasons and the movie. Thanks for providing the link. And I enjoyed it. I can understand why this is a staple of late 90s and early 2000s animation.
Yes. And and yes, we'll unfortunately be talking about that god-awful reboot as well, which we have more than...
Oh, God.
I'm going to be dreading even mentioning any word with that son of a bitch, Julia Vickerman.
Oh, yeah. Her!
And another thing to know about Powerpuff Girls 2016 is that not only was Julia Vickerman involved, Kyle A. Carosa actually had a voice role in an episode.
Yikes. If I ever get around to watching the 2016 series, thank goodness I'm going to be doing it through the 7 Seeds.
All right, so now that we got a bit of on how we first got exposed to the series, let's talk about the history behind the show, because, like I said, it was based on one of those shorts from What a Cartoon, which would later on become the show that we know today, which was responsible by 3 particular heads: Jendy Travakowski, Craig McCraken, aka the actual creator, and Lauren Faust.
Yep. While watching the show, I would see some familiar names. Most were good. The others was for the wrong reasons. More on him later.
And the series came to be considering because of the fact that in the early 90s, Cartoon Network launched. Although for a while they did nothing but rerun old Hanna-Barbera cartoons, as well as the theatrical Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry cartoons. But over time, they needed to evolve since you can't have a channel that is nothing but classic cartoons. So in the mid 90s, there was a program launched named What a Cartoon, where many cartoonists would basically pitch a series to the network. And all of the cartoons that the early Cartoon Network shows were the ones that got picked up to become a series, to become the first Cartoon Network shows. Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Bravo, Cow and Chicken, Courage the Cowardly Dog, and of course the Powerpuff Girls.
Mm-hmm. The Powerpuff Girls would also have many iconic voice actors, like it helped pave the way for them. I mean, some of the voice actors actually did a lot of work, but this show helped them become a household name.
Yep, one of those voice actors being the man, the myth, and the legend, Tom Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
Before
just a year before he voiced SpongeBob.
Yeah, this was a year before SpongeBob.
And other voice actors would be Jeff Bennett. Of course, he already got to start voicing Johnny Bravo.
Hey, who's the handsome guy?
And Jennifer Halley,
There's a handsome guy in my house.
She did voice work prior in this cartoon called Skeleton Warriors and the 90s animated Spider-Man show as Black Cat.
Yep. And of course, there's also that. Oh, wait.
And there was also this voice actress, Tara Strong. Prior, she was in Ghostbusters Extreme. And actually, if you watch the credits, you would notice her last name would be different before she went by Strong.
Yes. And of course, the iconic Tom Kenny is in this show as well, who voiced Professor Utonium, and of course, him.
Yep. As well as being the voice of C-3PO in the original Star Wars trilogy.
May he rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Buttercup is voiced by
E.G. Daily.
Yes. I'm sorry. Okay. Tommy Pickles from Rugrats.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And also, I mean, this is actually something funny. Like, whenever I hear Mojo, like, a way to make Ghostface less scary, remember that he is voiced by Mojo Jojo.
Yes.
Roger L. Jackson.
We all know the iconic sequence where Mojo Jojo basically talks about how he's going to make breakfast.
Now part of me wants to, like, I want him, like, you know, to, like, you know, in the Ghostface voice, talk like Mojo Jojo, like, you know, say stuff Mojo Jojo would in the Ghostface voice, and vice versa. Hello, Bubbles. Do you like scary movies? Movies that are scary? Films that mean to terrify you? Motion pictures that spook you?
That's and of course, and now we get to the show's art direction in the original run.
You can tell that this show was worked on by the same people who made Dexter's Laboratory. In fact, I'd say a fun fact about Dexter's Laboratory: the original run of Dexter actually ended in June of 1998. And less than a year afterwards, in November of 1998, the original Powerpuff Girls premiered. And you can clearly tell since the show has a lot of the same art direction as Dexter's Laboratory, which, by the way, Cartoon Network, the show's art style is not just comprised of the three main girls. The show has an art style that is not too much different from Dexter's Laboratory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I absolutely love the designs for the girls as it helps to actually make them cute but also marketable and as well as distinct.
And I think that what works in this show's favor is that they are on model a lot of the time. Otherwise they'd look pretty. They'd look kind of wrong. I mean, we all know what happened with the 2016 reboot, which made them go off model constantly.
Yeah. Like, admit it. Like, these bug-eyed bipeds are practically marketable. Yes. Although, as you'll see around seasons 5 and 6, you'll start to notice a shift in the show's art direction.
Yeah, I didn't watch
Yeah.
5 and 6 yet, but I think I can handle it. Hey, if I'm able to get through season 4 of the Boondocks, I can get through the 2 seasons of the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah. When the show basically switched to digital animation, it was not too smooth of a transition. Something feels off about Professor Utonium's eyes in those seasons in specific.
And now we get to some of the show's iconic characters. We could start with the titular girls themselves.
I know that it's kind of a cliche pick at this point, but my favorite of the 3 is definitely Bubbles.
My favorite of the 3 is Buttercup. She's just me, mostly.
Yeah, like it's like Buttercup and Bubbles tend to be my favorite ones. Although I tend to lean more towards Bubbles, mostly because I just find her a more endearing character.
I just like Buttercup for her punk rocker attitude, I guess. And I remember that, and she's into a lot of some stuff that we would get along. Like she liked that Spawn expose.
Yeah. Though it does make it pretty painful that in the 2016 reboot, they basically ruined the characters, but more on that later.
Yes, like let's be honest. Bubbles is practically on par with Fluttershy.
Though she's more talkative than Fluttershy, in all honesty.
Yeah. And of course, there's also Buttercup, who is practically the tomboy.
Yeah, she's basically the Rainbow Dash of this show.
And the reason why she became the grump that we know that she became the tomboy is because the professor couldn't even bother to give Buttercup a proper name, and she was only really called Buttercup because it starts with a B.
Right. Now I'm thinking of that episode where she refused to take a bath, where even that monster refused to fight her, saying, "You stink!" And now I'm thinking of, like, imagining Utonium trying to bathe her in the same vein SpongeBob tried to bathe Gary. Now, why don't you just get in the tub? Get in the tub! In the tub! In the tub! In the tub!
And then we have, of course, the most straightforward character, Blossom.
Though one thing that she does start doing a lot more later on is that she starts constantly saying that she's the leader, but I don't think that she really needs to say that.
Leonardo doesn't constantly announce that he's the leader. Cyclops doesn't always announce that he's the leader.
And there's, of course, one of the best fictional cartoon dads in existence, Professor Utonium.
Yep.
Yeah.
Before
And I
he was
think it
thoroughly assassin. Yes.
And I recall something reading, like, because when Tom Kane left this earth, I remember Craig McCraken sharing that, like, he never really had a father figure or something, so he made Utonium be that father figure.
One thing that makes him one of the best fictional fathers is that he really does show how much he does care for the girls.
Yep. And
though that was until he was thoroughly assassinated in the 2016 reboot, but more on that later as well.
I dread the days when I get to the 2016 reboot.
Like it's not like there's a yeah. Not only do we have one of the most supportive fathers in cartoons, because let's be honest, who doesn't love Professor Utonium and would want him as your father?
In the show, one thing one of the best showcases of how good of a father figure that he is to the girls is that when he shows in the very first episode, he shows that he does care about them when he didn't even want to ground them. Ground them when he sees the Sedusa dressed up as his girlfriend.
Right.
He didn't want to ground them, but he had no other choice to. And when he finds out that the girlfriend of his is Sedusa, he basically ungrounds them and has Sedusa sent to jail.
Right.
And of course, we have other iconic characters, including Mrs. Keene, aka their teacher of Pokeyoke's kindergarten.
Though according to the reboot, her having her chest be big is too inappropriate for the show, even though female characters have chests in any animated series.
Yeah. And her chest was noticeable, but I mean, that was just ridiculous.
Yes.
And of course, if I'm not mistaken, they removed Miss Bellum from the reboot.
Oh, let's talk about the mayor and Miss Bellum.
Yeah. Of course, we all know who's really keeping things together.
I love this one joke where where the mayor falls for the girls who were just playing a game while it was raining. He took it seriously to the point where he jumped out of the window and fell into the mud and went I fell into the mud.
The one thing you never want to get between the mayor is his pickles.
Right. No Pickle Rick jokes.
Yes. He's the kind of mayor that doesn't even take his job seriously, and yet everything still works out. Which is why he has Miss Bellum on his side.
Yep.
Who's
We may never see her face, but she keeps things together.
Then again, a lot of cartoon shows from during and before the 90s did have certain characters that don't show their faces at all, including Cow and Chicken. Though it was they are just a pair of legs.
Right.
Yes. And she's actually and Miss Bellum is actually competent, and you could actually even argue that she actually acts more like a surrogate mother to the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, and actually, from what I gathered, Miss Bellum's face is hidden in the Powerpuff Girls as a running visual gag and a creative choice to frame her from the perspective of the naive mayor, who appreciates her body and competence while she acts as the true brains of the office.
Yeah, I think without Miss Bellum, Townsville would practically be fucked and would easily win because and of course without the Powerpuff Girls, the villains would easily win.
Mm-hmm.
But oh no, you can't show characters with big chests to children because the 2016 reboot wants to play things so safe that she gets written out of the show completely.
Yeah,
And they're fine with a twerking panda. Makes perfect sense.
And twerking kids, and of
kids.
course. The fashionistas.
Ugh.
So, like, look, I don't care that you got rid of Miss King's breasts. I'm more pissed off that about their hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm.
More than inconsistency. Let's start with the iconic villain who was practically the entire reason the Powerpuff Girls exist, Mojo Jojo.
Yes.
I am Mojo Jojo. I just love his voice.
Yeah, and it's hard to still believe that he is the same guy who does the ghost face voices.
I especially love that one clip where Bubbles basically imitates Mojo Jojo, and he goes all like, "No, I do not sound like that."
You're right.
Basically, this bitter monkey was partially responsible for the creation of the Powerpuff Girls, since he made Professor Utonum accidentally spill chemical X.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, sugar, spice, and everything nice with a dash of chemical X.
Yes, though technically he's a chimp, and chimps are apes, not monkeys, but they refer to him as a monkey for some reason. But yeah, he's like easily the most iconic Powerpuff Girls villain.
Yes, and he was also responsible for the creation of the Rowdy Rough Boys.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I heard they return in season 6 or 5, like that one of those 2 seasons, but the episode where they appeared, that was memorable.
Yes, like they're probably one of the highlights of the last 2 seasons.
Right.
Mojo Jojo is absolutely hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
But the show's best villain will always be him.
Right. Which I read that he was technically supposed to be the devil. Like he's supposed to be the devil of this universe, but they can't refer to him as the devilers because of censorship reasons.
But then again, Cow and Chicken can't say the word the devil either, so they refer to that guy as the red guy.
Which him is easily one of my favorite depictions of the devil, like top 3, alongside Ned Flanders and the one in Tales from the Hood, which I'm not going to spoil for those who haven't seen it. But like one aspect I like about him. He doesn't have horns. That's actually somewhat accurate because horns are for defense. You don't see carnivores with horns, and when they do, it's for defense or display purposes. And
him is single-handedly responsible for some of the show's darkest episodes.
Right, and
this was especially true in episodes like Octi Evil. And of course, Speed Demon. More when we talk about the episodes,
or even Tough Love.
Right. Oh, the episode. Oh, and his like feminine appearance makes me think of this Cobra Spell song. Satan is a woman. But yeah, I like him. He's easily the most terrifying villain, though. Like Mojo Jojo is technically would probably be my favorite villain.
Mm-hmm. And it's honestly kind of here's something that to keep in mind. Alongside Princess Morbucks, Mojo Jojo and him are literally the only major villains that really returned in the 2016 reboot, while the other ones got fucked over.
Huh. They brought him back for the 2016 reboot? Surprising.
Yeah.
Surprised.
Although I'm pretty sure it's not in a positive way. Speaking of Princess Morbucks, there's the rich brat.
Yep.
Oh, Canadian Ribbon just typed to me. Mr. Chloe-tastic is in the chat.
Oh, I didn't even realize then. What band user? I didn't even know their usernames were in there.
Yeah, it's one of his. It's one of Chloe-tastic's alts.
Yeah, well,
I think someone might need to alert me about all the alts so that way I can keep them out of my streams.
What's weird is this: she's voiced by Jennifer Howley. Jennifer Howley would then voice Mandy in Totally Spies. She voiced two Mean Girls, like two iconic Mean Girls from the late 90s and early 2000s animation.
Are we talking about Princess Morbucks now?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh.
So basically, why did she become a villain? It's because she wanted to be a Powerpuff Girls. Except she lacks all the traits of what the Powerpuff Girls are. The Powerpuff Girls don't ever seem to use money to get what they want.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And unlike Angelica from the Rugrats, Princess Morbucks it's acknowledged that Princess Morbucks is actually supposed to be a villain.
Right. Of course, at least Angelica Pickles has somewhat of a charm, and like she usually gets her comeuppance, and like we actually get some depth of why she's like that. Morbucks, she's the best described as a character you love to hate.
Yeah, the main difference between Morbucks and the Powerpuff Girls is that the Powerpuff Girls actually care about is because Morbucks only really seem to care about being a Powerpuff Girls because of the fame it gets, because of the fame and their powers, even though it's how they use their powers.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And we get to, of course, some other iconic villains, the Gangrene Gang.
Right.
Apparently, Ace was actually part of a band called the Gorillas.
Ace is my favorite. I mean, just Jeff Bennett's performance with that end. They're more of a well, not my favorite. They're more of like I see them more of as a nuisance instead of villains. Like, I mean, they're villains technically, but they're more of a nuisance to the Powerpuff Girls.
Like
is everything okay?
I'm just checking through because I'm making sure that I'm going through all the villains as much as possible. All the PPG villains, and there's of course Fuzzy Lumpkins.
Get off my property!
Voiced by the iconic Jim Cummings.
Get off my property!
Wow, cool. Oh,
admit it. As kids, you like to laugh at him, but as adults, you sort of sympathize with him.
Yeah, he's probably the most relatable villain, and well, Mojo Jojo could be relatable, but like Now I'm thinking of that episode when they were being prank called, like the Green Gang were prank calling them, and that ending.
Mhm.
Right? So anyway.
And then we and there's of course Sedusa, who only had 3 episodes.
Oh, 3? I thought she only had 2. Oh, right. I mean, I haven't seen the last 2 seasons. 2 in the original show's run. Shame, because she's somewhat of an underrated villain.
Mm-hmm. Though she got fucked over in the reboot.
Not surprised.
And of course we have the Rowdy Rough Boys, which we briefly brought them up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And by the way, being someone who did watch all of the 2016 series, the Rowdy Rough Boys only got a cameo in 1 episode.
Damn.
What total disrespect. And then the last of the recurring villains is the Amoeba Boys.
Right. they're a good example of lame villains, of purposely lame villains done right. Like
by the way, there's an episode of the show which is one of the first episodes, which bears an eerily resemblance to the pandemic.
Right. That
I don't know
episode
if
is close to home. Watching it now.
Yeah. Let's be honest. That either that episode aged well or it aged like milk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that and keep in mind, all of those are the recurring villains, as in those with 3 or more episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And now we can move on to each season and their best and worst episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Starting with the first 4 seasons.
Easily the show's best, which, though I would have to say around season 4, you could feel a sense of burnout, but that's not to say it was terrible. Not at all. It was the fourth. In fact, the 4th season probably has my favorite episode. Let me see it.
Apparently, all of the episodes of season 4 are special episodes, kind of like season 8 of The Fairly Odd Parents.
Though there is one episode that is like an actual traditional episode, but like with 2 segments, if I recall correctly. Yep. But for the most part,
like in season 4's case, there's actually 10 episodes, but on Tubi, it has like 2 segmented episodes, and they were from season 3.
And I'd say that. Let me see what the episodes, because I'm trying to figure it out. Oh, hold on. Season 4, my favorite episode. Okay, I'll get to it when we get into the stuff, because season 1, the cockroach opened up with the cockroach episode, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, with that iconic gag.
Apparently.
Oh no, wait, my mistake. The doggy episode. I was thinking that was episode 2, the dog episode.
Oh, Roach Coach apparently only had 1 episode in the entire show's run. Though they honestly should have brought him back.
Yeah. Cockroaches are hard to get rid of.
Because the episode is has the iconic phone where, hi, we need you, Powerpuff Girls.
Right.
And there's, of course, we briefly brought up Mommy Furies, which was the introduction of Sedusa.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Professor Utonium's characterization is at one of its highest here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Some of the best episodes in season 1 that come to mind is instantly Bubble Vicious, which is just saying Bubbles acting all hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
I like to call this like the early version of putting your hoof down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I just find that so fucking interesting. There's also, of course, Mr. Mojo's Uprising, which might as well be the origin story of how the Powerpuff Girls came to be, which would later be expanded into its own movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's, of course, Butter Crush.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest, this episode is more relevant today. Considering, yeah, I think you know what it is, Razor.
Oh boy, right, that episode. Mm-hmm. Yep. Let's. Now I can just imagine Chris Hansen coming in. Is that joke okay?
Yeah. I could. Oh yeah, I'm so excited for when Primetime comes out.
Yep.
And then, of course, the Rowdy Rough Boys, which introduced, well, the Rowdy Rough Boys.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's and other iconic include Octa Evil and Tough Love, which brought us him.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that makes
yeah.
One thing that makes
one thing that I loved about what him did in the episode Tough Love is that he literally talks to a rubber duck.
Yes. And he was able to make the Powerpuff Girls practically beat up every person in Townsville.
Right.
Which was probably, and Octa Evo pretty much showcases him on how he's able to easily manipulate Bubbles' fears, and the fact that he was able to get, and the fact that he really does prey on Buttercup and Blossom practically bickering.
Mm-hmm. Right. Another episode. Let me see.
There's also. Yeah, also I'm also including Mind for a Change solely for that iconic song.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but as far as the least favorite episode, the closest I could say is my least favorite is maybe Pace Makes Waste, but only because I find this episode a little too cruel towards Elmer.
Right.
I mean, I get it that maybe Buttercup isn't exactly the first to ever apologize, but yeah, I can't be the one who finds things a little too cruel towards him.
Mm-hmm.
So, any more topics on season 1?
It's good. It has a bit of what's called early installment weirdness, but that's expected from every first season or entry in a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the other iconic episode is Telephonies, which was basically just the gang and Graham making nothing but prank calls.
Right. Oh, actually, but I will admit that episode in that prank calls episode was hilarious. And it had a good gag, And so once again, the day is saved by him, Mojo Jojo, and Fuzzy Thumpkins. Which I will admit that part with the three villains getting their pay revenge on the Green Gang was satisfying.
I just got reminded of that one joke from Billy and Mandy all of a sudden.
Right, yeah, that joke. I saw that clip on YouTube, and that clip is just comedy gold. Like, and and of course, what Grimm said can easily apply to the leaked CW trailer. Which, if we're talking about that, I won't drop that line. Mm-hmm.
All right. So now we move on to season 2. I think this is where I think Powerpuff Girls really starts to peak.
Right. I felt like season 2 and 3 were their best, even if season 2 had this episode that I didn't like. Let me see what it was. What was it?
To me, season 3 has my most hated episode of the series before seasons 5 and 6.
Right. If I ever do my list of bad episodes of good cartoons, I'm excluding seasonal rot seasons. Right.
But season 2 and 3 is probably the Powerpuff Girls' best seasons. I mean, after all, like there's some iconic episodes in season 2. One of them is, of course, Best Rainy Day Adventure.
Oh yeah, which is the most iconic one, iconic episode of the series. The mayor jumping out of his window into a mud puddle was just comedy.
Yeah, I like that one. And let's see.
There's also the professor dressing up as Bubbles.
Yeah, that was me.
Mm-hmm. And like as I call it, that probably one of the greatest episodes of the series isn't even about an episode about stopping a villain. It's just as simple as an episode about the girls playing pretend.
Mm-hmm.
Like because we have to remind ourselves that there's still kindergartners who are 5 and 6.
Right, that's what's part of their appeal. What was like? I'm trying to find what was my
and of course you also have, of course, Blossom's imitation of Mojo Jojo, and of course that beginning where Buttercup, quote unquote, punches Bubbles.
Right. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
But season 2 had my first bad episode of this series. Though my first bad episode would be Too Pooped to Puff, where the citizens of Townville were being insufferable and dumber than a sack of hammers.
Yeah, because as we all know, Townsville is so dependent on the girls that they can't do anything themselves.
And there was times in the stupidity like that. Like I just felt like face palming like the Powerpuff Girls.
I mean, considering a later episode in seasons 5 and 6, where they basically scold the Powerpuff Girls for basically doing something about these cute animals, this makes a lot of sense.
Right.
And of course, my least favorite episode of this season, and it's actually the cover up, which I find that episode. Whereas I found that's a little too cruel towards Elmer. I found that the cover up more crueler to Buttercup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually remember seeing that episode be talked about on a worst Powerpuff Girls episode list, and it was at number 1. They basically tried to get onto Buttercup for having a security blanket, even though yes, Buttercup is a tomboy, but
Making
a
fun of her just for liking a blanket, having a blanket. Or, like, also, you're really going to risk Townsville over Buttercup, like, insecurities with her getting comfort in a blanket?
God, that one was infuriating and cruel towards Buttercup. Like, seriously, though. Like, what is wrong with Buttercup having a blanket?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
And yeah, and I find it absolutely hypocritical that Blossom and Bubbles are willing to get on to Buttercup for having a security blanket, yet when she gives it to the professor, apparently him saying, I am a great scientist, and they of course find it endearing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, and like it's also very it also shows double standards because let's say that this plot was reversed in that Bubbles was the one that this episode was about instead, where she basically gets Octi taken away from her. Would that episode that episode would rightfully get even more backlash towards it, and that's this and honestly I think that the same thing should apply, the same kind of backlash should apply here, and just as much, considering the fact that it's still cruel no matter who it's revolved around.
Right.
Yeah, like it's really telling that seasons 2 and 3's worst episode have Buttercup as the main focus.
Come on. Why do you gotta do that to my girl? I mean, I don't mean that in that stuff, but my favorite Powerpuff Girl.
Yeah, like season 2 has the episode that treats her like shit, and season 3 has the episode where she's at her absolute worst.
Right. Which I should say that also, I mean, it wasn't like that. There was also that episode in season 2, but I mean, it was where everyone called her out rightfully when she refused to take a bath. Like, even the monster, like, said, "You stink!" Yeah, like, they recognized that she was in the wrong.
Yes,
and they
also
recognized it too.
And also that episode, and let's be honest, you do relate to Buttercup as someone who never really liked taking showers or baths.
Right.
Especially during the winter when it's extremely cold outside.
Oh, an episode I like in season 2. I mean, I like this one because I remember because of which ironically we just mentioned at like this sister episode of Cover Up. Of course, this one comes first. Twisted Sister. Besides being named after one of my favorite bands, a band I like, Twisted Sister.
Oh yes, the one where it had a character die on screen.
Yes, and while she was a one-time character, Bunny, like, despite being a one-time character, she left an impression, and I will admit, Bunny's death almost made me cry.
Yeah, like I was like, holy shit, they had to go there. Like, and by the way, Bunny is a better fourth Powerpuff Girl than Bliss.
Right.
Yeah, like, and of course, going back to some episodes in season 2 that were also not very good, there's also, of course, the episode that people debate on, A Very Special Blossom. It's practically one of the biggest hit or miss episodes in the fandom. You either like it because it portrays Blossom in a quote-unquote realistic, yet flawed character, or you hate it because she's out of character, that she's willing to steal golf clubs.
I can understand the turn-offs, but I like it also that it shows her as a flawed character.
Although,
so I can understand why people have it turned off, but I mean, hey, our heroes can't be perfect.
I mean, I would say that this plot would work better with Buttercup, but again, season 3 proved that they managed to do this in a horrible way. And I was more annoyed by the professor being so ungodly materialistic.
Right.
I mean, Blossom does just wants to make the professor happy.
Yeah,
True.
which is at least she at least had good intentions from the start, even if they backfired. And at the very least, she at least got her comeuppance.
Right.
But yeah, let's get back to some iconic episodes in season 2. Of course, we have Speed Demon.
Right.
Oh yeah,
That episode, as
one
terrifying
of the
as it
darkest.
it had a good message of not to
the episode has some pretty dark implications that that the Powerpuff Girls cannot leave Townsville at all in their lives.
Right.
Yeah, and this confirms that that if the Powerpuff Girls left Townsville, the Townsville would pretty much be turned to shit. And unfortunately, there's some later episodes that keep trying to negate it.
Right.
Yeah. This also implies that if there's an incarnation of the Powerpuff Girls who are young adults, they still can't leave Townsville or to go to college because things would go sour very quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Other iconic episodes include Collect Her. Can't tell you guys what this episode is meant to take a huge stab at.
Basement dwellers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Basically, the kind of people that RLM were supposedly supposed to satirize with Plinkett, when that was not the case because basement dwellers latched on to the Plinkett reviews. Like, imagine if Dead Kennedys, after releasing Police Truck, a song meant to lampoon corrupt cops, they then latched onto it when that is not the case. I mean, actually, Dead Kennedys actually did call out the people like the wrong kind of people who latched onto their music. When neo-Nazis missed the point of California Uber Alles, they released a song explicitly telling them to go away.
Yeah, and something that I do like about the basement dweller in this episode is that it's not meant to be insulting to those who criticize cartoons. It's meant to be a satire of basement dwellers who live in their mother's basements and have and do not touch grass at all. It's basically meant to be a satirization of those types of people, you know, like Comic Guy from The Simpsons or Bubble Blast from the recent seasons of SpongeBob.
Right. He's meant to be we're not meant to sympathize it, but we're not meant to relate to him. We're meant to be with that stuff. Also, it's when I plan to sometime debunk the Plinkett reviews, I'll point to Powerpuff Girls already made fun of these kind of people much better. And heck, Spaced also made fun of it too. Like when there was this joke where Simon Pegg's character, after berating a kid for wanting a Jar Jar doll, his boss scolded him and he was saying, kids like Jar Jar. And he's all, what about the Ewoks? They were rubbish. And then got him to run out, fired him. And when he got fired, he ran out crying in the same way that he got the kid to run out crying. That worked because he was meant to be the butt of the joke.
Yeah, and I don't care about what any of the Sponge Boomers say. Bubble Bass in the recent seasons of SpongeBob is a funny character.
Hey, he's being utilized more. I haven't most of the seasons, but I plan to check out that one episode. I saw that bit. That felt like it was something out of the classic era.
What are you doing in me dummy office?
In me dummy office. In me dummy Krusty Krab. In me dummy Bikini Bottom. Holding me dummy formula. Which, for a cheapskate, Mr. Krabs does spend a lot of money. I mean, that would probably cost a lot of money, but he does spend a lot of money to mess around with Plankton, so that's where all that money goes, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Anytime a show tends to poke fun at basement-dwelling losers, it usually tends to be the funniest caricatures of them. I mean, you can't really go wrong with Bubble Bass playing as the nostalgia critic.
Yeah, or comic book guy constantly going on like worst episode ever.
Right.
Or let's see, another iconic episode that comes to mind definitely goes to Birthday Bashed.
Right, that episode.
Basically, an episode where all the villains try to give their gifts to the Powerpuff Girls that can get them destroyed, only for it to backfire on them.
And the funniest one was the Amoeba Boys. How they failed at their present. We gave them voodoo dolls. No, you're supposed to put the pins in the voodoo dolls. Yeah, not give them the dolls.
The Amoeba Boys suck.
Right. But like in the good kind of way. Like, you know, they're terrible, but like they're terrible, but like, you know, we get a like they're the terrible kind of villains done right. Like they're supposedly not meant to be a threat.
And there's, of course, Los Dos Mojos, which is practically a bit of an expansion on Bubble Visions, but this time, Bubbles is Mojo Jojo.
Right.
Yeah, that episode had a funny sequence with Mojo Jojo getting out of the shower and scolding Bubbles for pretending to be like him.
Like honestly, who is the better Mojo Jojo, Bubbles or Blossom?
Good question. I would have to say Bubbles because she came very close. And I just looked up this. Just something I found because I looked up Lenny Baxter, the name of that basement dweller. Apparently, Lenny Baxter, there's a real life Lenny Baxter. He's a heavy metal singer. Sung for the band Deep Machine, an EP and their album Rise of Machines, and played the bass on a single for the band Gangland in the 90s. Yeah.
So any more loved episodes from us from season 2?
Let's see. I liked Imaginary Fiend, I guess. But, yeah, season 2 is pretty good.
Yep, and season 3 expands on it. But unfortunately, of the 2 seasons, season 3 has some of my most hated episodes, it's the episode that had some of the more hated episodes in the series. One of them is Counted Out.
Right,
Oh,
that
boy.
episode was just...
I heard all of that about that episode.
Town and Out was just pointless. Like, I mean...
Like, if you want to see the Powerpuff Girls outside of Townsville, which was already dead on arrival because we already established in Speed Demon that they can't leave Townsville, and also they would need their powers. Oh, yeah, that's actually a problem I had with daylight savings, where Miss Kizzy tried to prioritize the fact that the Powerpuff Girls are sleeping at her class, you know, because they're saving the day, and she tries to claim that, being at school and actually doing your assignments is more important than saving Townsville. That's like that episode, but Town and Out. That's like, it's like daylight savings, but somehow worse than Town and Out.
Just like how SpongeBob, like how in season 1, there's that episode Jellyfishing where it had Squidward and a whole body cast be unable to speak. Apparently, that episode was so popular, it got a sequel where Squidward got encased in cement, unable to talk in season 4.
Looking back about pre-movie SpongeBob episodes, I question why episodes even liked episodes like Jellyfishing. when it was practically the. But then again, they try to claim that everything from the pre-movie seasons is amazing, and there was no bad episodes.
Looking at you, who made a video about how you thought that Dumped is a better episode than Have You Seen the Snail?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, getting back to Town and Out, like this episode had no reason to exist.
Yes, and like it was basically just a waste of time, energy, and money. Considering the fact that that the professor had to collect all of the things in the house in order to move to Citiesville.
Right.
Because moving into a house takes a surprising amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Other episodes in season 3 don't worry, I'm gonna build up to the worst one. There's of course Getting Twiggy with It, which was just found way too cruel to a hamster.
Right. Which thankfully he got thankfully he got what he deserved.
Yes, but seriously though, that episode made me go, my God, like the Powerpuff Girls should just flat out report Mitch to Mrs. Keen for abusing Twiggy.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there's also Fallen Arches, which was basically the worst version of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy.
Right. Which I could understand what it was satirizing, like with, right, but it was just boring.
And then we get to the worst one in season 3. Moral Decay.
Ah, that episode where Buttercup becomes Mr. Krabs and starts like, this is despicable. Like, this is rough even by her standards.
Like, sure.
Yes.
Like, sure, Buttercup isn't exactly the most likable of the three, and she can be a bit of a dick, especially towards Bubbles, but she has never been up to the point where she is greedy and shows no real redeeming qualities.
Right. And, she starts, like, thankfully, though I will say, the things that somewhat redeemed this episode, I mean, like, from being the worst, like, is with her, is thankfully she gets what she deserves at the end. When the villains, like, start beat her up, and she has to pay all the money she spent from stealing all the tea.
Sadly, as much as I want to take satisfaction in her getting her comeuppance, sadly, I take issue with even that. And that mostly comes down to the fact that don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Buttercup shouldn't ever face consequences to her actions, but this episode literally ends with Bubbles and Blossom literally willing to team up conspire with the villains to get her own sister beaten up, and literally say, like, which because as we all know, these siblings don't condone needless violence towards their siblings, right? Those mojos,
right?
There should have been a more civil way of taking care of Buttercup.
Mm-hmm. Like, maybe she is trying to get a tooth from this monster, and like she gets in over her head and then gets beaten up, and then she realizes what she's done is wrong.
But no, they have to do it with the villains, because as we all know, because that totally works. Like.
No, I will say one other funny bit was hearing Mojo Jojo like talking that way. I mean, it did get a laugh out of me.
Like, yeah, sure, because as we all seriously though, like, congratulations, Moral Decay, you made me hate everyone.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like, I'm just gonna say this is the demolition doofus before demolition doofus.
Right.
At least, and dare I say, it's actually worse than A Very Special Blossom, because at least in that episode, at least Blossom had good intentions from the start, and at least she did get punished within reason.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like this episode has Buttercup at her worst, and it has every other character at their worst, including the professor. And by the way, the power, they're practically 5 and 6. Yes, totally beat up children.
Mm-hmm. Great morals.
Seasons 5 and 6, say what you want about seasons 5 and 6, but the only other episode that comes close to getting on my bad side a lot, and we'll be getting to that one in a bit, is Sunscreen. More on that later.
Oh, I've heard about that episode.
Oh, God. But of the first 4 seasons, Moral Decay is my most hated.
Right.
And now we get to some of the best episodes in all of season 3. It's sad that one of my most hated episode is paired up with one of the best episodes of the series, Meet the Beatles.
Yep. We're a reference to the Beatles. It's weird, and that just happened with it's weird, when one of the best episodes gets paired up with a stinker. Mm-hmm.
There's also, of course, Equal Fights, which is actually more relevant now.
Yep. And the fact that, this is an example of Craig McCraken and Randy Myers. Randy Myers was the director of the episode. Craig McCraken being a better male feminist than Joss Whedon.
By the way, is Equal Fights the episode with the League of Superhero heroes?
No, that was this villain, this one-time villain. Femme Fatale. Power
yeah. The episode which apparently the episode with the villain that apparently that got compared to Jailbreak from the Emoji Movie.
But she is better than Jailbreak.
Because that's because the writers of this episode actually had enough self-awareness.
Yes, and actually understood. A powerful part was when the girl, when Bellum and other characters confront the Powerpuff Girls and point out give something about equal rights and how she doesn't follow what she preaches, Femme Fatale, and point out the dollars that she was stealing, the Susan B. Anthony dollars. When Susan B. Anthony was persecuted, she wanted to be punished equally.
Yes. And oh yeah, by the way, in terms of and somehow this was a much better episode take on feminism than Dragon Quest.
Yeah, that's just depressing.
Right. Oh, another episode I like. The classic body swap episode, Crisscross Crisis. Which you could tell the animators were having a blast with that one, with that stuff. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There was Hot Air Buffoon. Hot Air Buffoon was when the mayor starts, after being criticized by a cleaning staff lady, he causes He starts going out on a hot air balloon, punching everyone with this device.
Yeah, well, yes, probably one of the first instances of where we actually explore the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of mayor episodes, there's also Candy as Dandy. Guess what this episode's meant to be as one huge metaphor for?
Oh, the tricks rabbit. And that one was funny. And
yeah, like, oh yeah, Jewel of the Isle, which was basically was basically a parody of Tricks Are for Kids.
Yeah.
This needs to be said right now. Just let the poor rabbit have those tricks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and going back to Candy as Dandy, that episode serves as a one huge allegory for, of course, drug addictions. Because let's be honest,
Candy is Dandy. Oh yeah, that episode. Yep. Organ addiction with that any kind.
Yeah, they actually conveyed addiction in a kids show.
Yeah, and in a way that is actually effective. And like when they realize it's what's done to them, they break it away. Mm-hmm. Well, they have. What episode?
Yeah, like. And then there's, of course, Powerpuff, which is probably the most we ever seen of the professor in this kind of light, where he becomes, well, one of the Powerpuffs.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm.
And this might be maybe not a favorite episode, but I think Child Fearing is also a pretty fucking hilarious thing. Mojo Jojo suffer here.
Right. This was basically the slumbering with the enemy, but done better.
Yeah, like plus it was it's just funny seeing Mojo suffer, much like in just another manic Mojo.
Yeah, and the him getting, like, my favorite part was the like when the girls found ways to outsmart him, and my favorite part was the serpent, like the serpent. Well, when they were watching that serpent show and doing stuff, and how it broke him so much that he's all like, he called the cops to turn himself in.
Yeah, like this is one episode I recall seeing a clip of, although that's mostly thanks to someone's rant on Smooth Jazz at Bikini Bottom and highlighting on how to torment a character.
Right. And actually, which reminds me, SpongeBob actually did Squidward torture not done right? Did Squidward torture right in season 4, Lost Mattress, where Squidward, he got rid of Mr. Krabs' mattress and was trying to throw SpongeBob and Patrick under the bus, and he was sending them to get the mattress, to be basically worm bait, and every time he attempted it, he would get mauled by the worm. That is an example of Squidward torture done right, or the way it's done is more of Squidward, like a Squidward karma trap.
Yeah, another recent example of how to do a Squidward karma trip, right, is in Life Insurance, where he gets overly cocky about him being invincible, that he ends up being a jerk to other people, leading to the slapstick heavy ending.
Or heck, this is a good way, like that episode Skill Crane, which the fact that it's paired with an actual Squidward torture episode is ironic. The episode Skill Crane, where it actually accurately portrays addiction, and after he wins, he starts becoming insufferable, and he gets repercussions for his actions.
the only thing good about Good Neighbors is that it spawned the security system takes control of Squidward's house and begins attacking the city. Meme.
Which apparently that meme inspired that episode where Squidward and SpongeBob's house has come to life for some reason.
All right. Now we move on to season 4, as well as a bit of history about this season and during what was in between.
Yes. This episode. The Powerpuff Girls movie.
Yes.
Yeah. Apparently, season 4 was meant to be the final season of the series before the movie, and it really does feel like a celebration of Powerpuff Girls, as well as a swan song for it.
Yes.
Yes.
So I would have to say that season 4 is the weakest of the original series, but not to say it's bad. Not at all. It had some great episodes. In fact, the final episode, Super Friends, is my favorite Powerpuff Girls episode of all time. And it was but I could see there was some burnout. But as you were saying, Sean, like when it felt like a celebration, there was that episode, like, let's see. All right. The episode, Get Back Mojo, where we're going back in time to save Professor Utonium. That's right. We're going back in time to save Professor Utonium. Who are you talking to? This guy right here. He totally gets it.
I love that meme so much.
Yeah, to think that movie would have faded into obscurity had that scene not become a meme.
Yeah, like season 4 had only 10 episodes, and it was shortened because of the production of the movie. And I think we can get into a bit of both the movie and season 4 simultaneously, because this movie made history as being the first, and sadly only, if you count Teen Titans Go to the Movies, as their first theatrically released Cartoon Network movie.
Yeah, and it's a shame it flopped because, I wouldn't rank it on the SpongeBob SquarePants movie or Transformers the movie, rest in peace, Peter Cullen, or the movie or Batman Mask of the Phantasm. It's one of the, as cartoon-based movies go, this is definitely one of the better ones. I mean, I had some issues like some of the pacing, but I like the origin story, the girls, and of course the animation boost. Had it been
although the Powerpuff Girls movie being released at the time that it did was the mother of all bad timing, because around the exact same time that this movie was released, Lilo and Stitch was still in theaters. And also around that exact same time, the Hey Arnold movie was also in theaters, and that movie also didn't do good.
Yeah, which had the Powerpuff Girls movie had done better at the box office, it might have led to more Cartoon Network movies, like maybe a Courage the Cowardly Dog movie, maybe a Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy movie. You get the idea.
Yeah.
Though, at the exact same time, Cartoon Network, this movie was apparently not really advertised all that much.
So, right. Yeah. And regarding the movie, I liked how it upped the stakes to a degree and, served as an origin story. Introducing, and it actually had, showed some stuff. I liked how Utonium was aware that his girls had superpowers and he wanted to introduce them, into the world, but, stuff that little girls do, but they still have to do that. And, I liked how the Powerpuff Girls, they were just being girls, but they inadvertently do destroy the city. And it, falls in that Spider-Man quote. with great power comes great responsibility. And like it applies to that here, which the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie came out. And hold on. Oh, I have to go out. I'm going out to dinner. I have to go now. I may or may not join later, but yeah.
All right.
Right.
Sorry. All right then. All right. So to get back into a bit of the film's production, I
heard you. I'm coming, Mom.
Yes. This was sadly the first and only theatrical release Cartoon Network movies to ever be released in theaters. Unless you count Teen Titans Go to the Movies.
Yeah, a regular show did apparently have a theatrical release, but it was very limited.
Yeah, and even more so because unfortunately CN, and it's kind of the same as some of CN's other shows the other CN movies based on their CN shows didn't get a theatrical release.
Mm-hmm. The Steven Universe movie, while it didn't have theatrical animation, would have worked perfectly on the big screen.
Yes, and could you imagine the amount of Ed and Eddie fans going to see Big Picture Show?
Yeah, that would be insane.
No, I can definitely agree with you. I can definitely agree with you to a degree. Although that's just more or less personal taste, and yeah, I agree. I need to get around to watching the original Teen Titans. But yeah, this was practically a very, very somber era because unfortunately this movie bombed at the box office. And not only did it bomb at the box office tremendously, this was the last thing that Craig McCraken ever worked on for the series.
Mm-hmm. Before eventually moving on to create Foster's Home.
And to get back into a little bit of season 4, so season 4 actually had more episodes I liked. In fact, I don't think there's even a bad episode in season 4. Even its worst episode, I still find to be pretty good, all things considered. One of the best ones easily goes to Knock It Off.
Mm-hmm.
Knock It Off, first of all, Dick is just a fitting name for this character.
Yeah, and the episode, and it's also one of the more disturbing episodes of the show.
Take a guess what this episode is meant to satirize. Commercialism.
Yeah, commercialism with this guy taking advantage of the fact that he could market Powerpuff Girls around the world.
And somehow he doesn't make it with any of the love that Professor Utonia made.
Yeah, it's like that one SpongeBob episode, Selling Out, where they basically make synthetic patties, and SpongeBob at the end of it says, "Where's the love?"
Yep, and Razor brought this one up, but yeah, Super Friends is also fantastic. Yet another episode that prioritizes on a simple story.
And also, the episode heavily implies that the Powerpuff Girls actually takes place in the same universe as Dexter's Laboratory, since Major Glory is in this show.
It's honestly sad that Robin never got to be a mainstay in the series. Like Robin would have been a decent addition for the series, and yeah, that throughout the montage where the Powerpuff Girls and Robin constantly get hampered by the real world activities that the girls have to do. Yeah, and it also highlights Princess Morebugs being her usual bitch self, who is borderline willing to fucking use a kid, and was basically turned her and to basically get Robin to steal, because unfortunately Robin is naive, while Princess Morebug is garbage.
Mm-hmm. And also, there's apparently one joke that in one of these episodes where Robin apparently has an abusive home life, saying that she was an accident too.
Robin really should have been kept in the series after this episode.
I mean, she is in the reboot in a few episodes.
There's also, of course, Him Diddle Riddle. Him basically uses the Powerpuff Girls to solve his riddles. And another one goes to Stray Bullet, which also introduced, Bullet. Season 4, the closest or the one I could call the weakest one is maybe all chalked up, but that's more so because I found Buttercup a little too cruel towards Bubbles. Like Buttercup willing to fucking break Bubbles' crayons. Granted, she did apologize, even if she's not exactly good at apologizing, but still. Yeah, season 4 was the last season involving Craig McCracken's involvement.
Although, because of the fact that Powerpuff Girls became such a cash cow for Cartoon Network, they decided to renew the Powerpuff Girls for another season and brought Chris Savino on board.
Oh boy! This is gonna be a fun one, isn't it? Alright. But I'll say this. I'm gonna try to be a little positive on season 5 here, because I'm gonna be honest. Season 5 did start the decline of the series. Yeah, I wouldn't say it was everything in season 5 was misery, because there were a few bright spots in that particular season. Season 5, before season 5, there was, of course, twas the fight before Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think came out before season 5, even it came out. And that episode, basically, every kid is on Santa's nice list, except for Princess Morebugs, who is on the naughty list.
Yeah.
Although I still question why Mitch Mitchelson is on the nice list, considering the fact that he bullies kids and is willing to abuse a hamster. But yeah, and Santa really should check his list twice.
Yeah. Though one problem that did end up did start enveloping in the Powerpuff Girls in seasons 5 and 6 is the pacing. It is ungodly slow.
Well, shall we just group seasons 5 and 6 together and just start with the bad episodes in this era?
Yeah. Yeah, we might as well.
Yeah, let's put seasons 5 and 6 together because to get all the bad episodes out in one go. We can start.
Yeah. There's the most infamous one, of course, that being Sunscream.
Oh, good God, that was one of the most painful things I've ever seen. Like,
yeah. It's also it's also one of the more uncomfortable episodes as well because we constantly get close-up shots of the girls while they're showing a lot of skin having being in constant agony.
oh boy, oh yeah, but reminder: the Powerpuff Girls are 5 or 6.
Yes.
Oh, and
that's what makes it uncomfortable.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, and here's another thing to note: in the movie, the Powerpuff Girls were able to go through the sun just fine. So I have to ask, how in the hell were they able to get a sunburn that easily?
I have no clue.
Does anyone find the girl screaming and wailing in agony over a fucking sunburn to be funny?
It's not, and not to mention either this episode basically has that pacing issue where it just drags on.
Yeah, as someone who has had sunburn before, yeah, this one's painful. And if I'm gonna be honest, I actually find this more painful than the splinter. Because to give the splinter credit, at least that episode was more exaggerated.
Mm-hmm. And while we're on this subject, do you want to know what episode that this one was paired with?
The city of Brownsville.
Yes. Such an awful pairing.
Oh yes. Because apparently we have the two faces of evil. An episode that's about sunburns, and the other is about constant crying.
Yeah. It was already bad enough that we had that from SpongeBob in its middle seasons. So having an entire episode about crying is just gonna be an incredibly annoying experience.
Oh yeah. Of the two, I still think Sunscream is the worst of the two because that one actually, City of Brownsville was more annoying. Sunscream is still more uncomfortable, especially because I have had sunburns before. And I'm pretty sure you also had them as well.
I never had sunburns in my life.
Thank God. Other awful episodes in these two seasons also include Toast of the Town. What did they do to you, the mayor? Throughout the episode, it's just basically him whining and acting like a baby because his toaster isn't working and he isn't getting his fucking toast. It's basically just Mayor want toast.
God.
I mean, I know that the mayor isn't very intelligent and has had his immature moments, but he is not a fucking baby. There's also, of course, yeah. Yeah, like, and there's also, of course, sweet and sour.
Oh yeah, that one of the episodes that shows the townsfolk, the citizens of Townsville at their worst.
First of all, those three things are not cute. Like, they, like, yeah, sure. Like, let's heckle the Powerpuff Girls for actually trying to stop actual thieves and criminals who are willing to steal their banks openly, all because they're so precious and cute.
Give me a break.
Another infamous one goes to Girls Gone Mild.
Oh yeah. So like I stated before, do you like it when sequences go on forever? Because that's basically what happens in this episode.
You know, and this is yet another episode where they try to negate the girls having to use their powers. You know, this episode actually tried to have a commentary about about kids quote unquote emulating violence from the Powerpuff Girls. Oh gee, if you showed it on screen, maybe you'd have a point. The sad part is that of all episodes, Girls Gone Mild could have actually been good. Like the idea of, because from what I recall, apparently Craig McCraken did get letters saying, "Why is there violence in your show?"
Gee, maybe it's because of the fact that maybe it's because of the fact that the show was created in the 90s when the censors have been lifted years beforehand.
I could have seen this episode working as a good parody. Like if you want to see an episode like this done right, go look at PTV from Family Guy, where the episode is one huge fuck you to the FTC.
Yeah. Although apparently apparently this was foreshadowing, considering what ended up happening in the 2016 reboot.
Going through all the other atrocious episodes in these two seasons. In these two seasons, like, because trust me, I can list some of the more atrocious examples. These are just the instant ones that instantly come to mind.
These final two seasons actually had a band episode, "See Me, Feel Me, Know Me,"
which is ironically one of the best episodes of the series. Yeah, but we'll save for all the good episodes in a bit, because another one that actually annoys me is Nothing Special, which was just completely pointless. Yeah, so yeah, Say Uncle is another one that annoys the hell out of me. Obviously, you don't find this getting annoying. The girls not even recognizing who their uncle is supposed to be, and it's like a taffy loving baboon, a taffy loving creature goes nuts for taffy to the point where not even the professor can recognize it. Cannot recognize his own brother. Well, that episode wastes a potentially interesting character to this annoying shit. But that's not to say seasons 5 and 6 didn't have their fair share of good episodes. I mean, CV Filming Nomi is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's be honest, you know why this episode got banned.
Yeah. Apparently, it got banned because of a sequence that had a character that resembled Jesus. But also, there's also the seizures.
Yeah, but when taking that episode, yeah, you have a really damn good episode with some fantastic musical numbers, and of course, its take on communism. Other good episodes, I would say, goes to, of course, Paranoia. It's an episode about him. You really can't go wrong with him. And and another one that goes to is, of course, The Boys Are Back in Town, which, of course, brought back the Rowdy Rough Boys. And, of course, others include. And, of course, there's also, of course, Curses. Take a guess what? Basically, the Sailor Mouth of the series.
Yep.
Admit it. You find the Powerpuff Girls cussing to be funny.
The characters in SpongeBob cursing was also funny as well.
And let's see, the icon. There's also season 5 silent treatment, which is one huge homage to, well, silent films. Sorry, I had to get a drink of water here.
All right.
I'll go back to season 5 and 6. All right, let's get back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get back to some of the problems in seasons 5 and 6. Like, the pacing is slow and it's not being funny. While the plot turns into predictable message.
Yeah. Honestly, and like it's kind of and considering the fact that Chris Savino worked on these final 2 seasons of the show, I have all confidence in saying that these seasons were not good.
Yeah, like it makes it like I wouldn't like it feels like it honestly feels like Craig McCraken really wanted the show to end in its 4th season with the movie. But they gave it to the wrong possible person candidate in charge to take over for a bit.
Gennady Tartakovsky was working on Samurai Jack around this time, but there could have been another possible candidate that they could have handed the show over to. Although I would say Rob Renzetti, but he was at Nickelodeon by this time.
of these 2 seasons, I think season 6 is the worst one. It's only based on the fact that even its best episodes aren't even close to some of my favorites of the first 5. At least 5 had a couple of standouts. And however, the Powerpuff Girls did manage to get 2 specials after this. After this, in 2008, for its 10th anniversary, we got the Powerpuff Girls Rule.
Yeah. Though this episode was actually made for the Powerpuff Girls 10th anniversary.
And one thing that's worth noting is mainly about its art direction and how it tried to emulate the old style by using Flash. And yeah, like
I mean, this was shortly before Craig McCraken went to work on Wander Over Yonder.
and you can definitely tell. And the other one was with Dance Pants.
Which I'm just gonna say, the art direction of Dance Pants was not very good.
So, if I'm being honest, I actually think it still looks like, although it's still better than the 2016 reboot in that department. Like the Powerpuff Girls role was good on its own, whereas Dance Pants was not. And it said that would end up being the last thing the original voice actors would work on, because before we got the Powerpuff Girls Z anime, which
Craig McCraken did approve of. Although it was put into the right hands, considering the fact that Powerpuff Girls Z was done by some of the same people who did Sailor Moon,
and they had to make changes.
which is also an influential anime in of itself.
Yes, and of course, and they had to make changes from the original, like how the girls are not the kids of Utonium in the anime, from what I heard. But hey, I'd still take an episode of Powerpuff Girls Z any day before it's time.
Powerpuff Girls 2016.
We've been building this one up, so it's time to say it. Fuck this show.
Yes.
Where do we start with this abomination?
So let's start off with the least terrible thing about the show. How it is as a reboot to the original show. Something like the show the one problem that the show has is that it doesn't know whether it wants to be a continuation of the original show or a full-blown reboot. But it doesn't work as a reboot because, no joke, the show does not introduce any of its characters to newcomers who haven't seen the original show.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room. It's animation. Say what you want about Dance Pants. At least it actually looked promising. And if it was done better, I would still take the art direction in Dance Pants over whatever the hell they did with this series.
There are obvious animation mistakes that make you wonder if Cartoon Network even cared before cared, or had them go back to patch up some of these issues before airing it on TV.
Like, there are so many animation mistakes. That if you were that this should be taught at schools on how not to animate.
Yeah. Like there's a sequence where Mojo Jojo is walking a dog and the leash just disappears in mid shot.
Here's some examples.
Oh God.
I'm looking up the examples on how many animation mistakes are in this reboot. Notice something wrong in this shot?
Blossom's eye is colored the same. The pupil on Blossom's eye is the same color as her actual eye color.
Baby's first animation mistakes, everyone.
Oh God. Half of Buttercup is missing.
Even the title cards have this.
Oh God.
I'm looking up as many animation mistakes that were in this series. There's a lot of them. Try to defend this by saying it's a stylistic choice. I dare anyone to try and do that. No me gusta. I am looking over all the animation mistakes that were in this series because, oh my God, it's obvious. And I've saved the worst one. The one that makes me go, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Ugh. Oh God.
Want to make a good segue to the next big problem in this series?
There is yes. The alarming content in this show.
Like Muscle Cup is literally has Buttercup getting fat.
Yes.
And turning it into goo. And if you thought that was bad, there was, of course, the infamous Painbow episode, which had, I wish I was kidding, the Powerpuff Girls twerking.
Yes. And not only were they twerking, they were being hypnotized by the villain into doing this.
I'm sure that got backlash.
It did. It got major backlash.
And they had to do it again. There was also, of course, the infamous self-insert episode
where one of the writers, one of the other writers basically inserted a writer into the series to be the love interest of Blossom.
Hey, you know that Buttercup episode? It's basically that, but unironically. Yeah. Let's destroy the whole point of Buttercrush and try to recapture that, but do it unironically instead of calling it out. And there's, of course, the offensive episode about transgenders, Horn Sweet Horn, which also received backlash.
Mm-hmm. And there's also Bye Bye Bellum, which basically sent Miss Bellum away. And bear in mind, all of this was at the beginning of the series.
You would think that this reboot wouldn't be so bad, but apparently, from the start, it was destined for failure. Like, it got backlash immediately, even before it came out. Like, it was so bad that not even the original voice actors wanted to sign on to this. Of the girls wanted to sign on this shit.
Actually, I think they weren't brought back. Do you want to? But they decided not to bring back any of the female voice actresses, but yet they let the males reprise their roles.
Are you kidding me? Oh my god! And that's not even, and there are so many other problems with this series. On top of the disgusting, alarming content, what they did to the characters in this series is nothing short of insulting and unforgivable.
Yes, and not to mention either. While we're on the subject of the what they did to the characters, the new voice actresses that they got for the main girls just don't fit them in any way whatsoever. I don't mind Blossom's new voice, but Bubbles and Buttercup just are not the same characters, not in how they speak nor how they're characterized.
I'm seriously though, one of the instances is how easily defeated they are.
Yeah, these girls were characterized in the original series to be powerful, but yet they constantly get captured or trapped in something.
And in one episode, apparently Bubbles breaks her fucking bone in her arm, despite that they're supposed to be bipeds. Yeah, I could tolerate them getting rid of Miss Keen's breasts. Like, that's the least of this show's problems, but the hypocrisy in this show cannot be tolerated.
So having Miss Bellum being in the show and getting rid of Miss Keen's chest were not acceptable. But having this gorilla character that wears nothing but a tube top and a skirt, and a superhero named Greenwig wearing this outfit that shows her legs were okay, according to you guys.
And even more so is how atrocious the girls are portrayed. Sure, of course, these girls always, as in the original, do tend to bicker, but you usually get the sense that they care about each other, and of course, they act more like siblings should. Plus, they're 5 and 6. In these series, they don't act like they're meant to be 5 or 6.
Yes, they act like like in this series, they act like they're either in high school or middle school. Despite the fact that they didn't even bother updating the character designs to make them appear older.
There is so much attempt at modernization. They reference hashtags and memes.
Yes.
I know that we use this meme. They reference No Me Gusta in this series.
Mm-hmm. And yeah. And they also frequently show sequences where Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup are rapping.
To quote Shane Frillis again, because I know we use this meme a lot, but it can't be stated enough.
and like and another thing about this show, do you want to know why Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup were appealing in the original show? They appeared on model a lot of the time, making it so that they don't come across as uncanny. This series decided to go the opposite direction and have them constantly go off model, leading to these uncanny shots where they constantly look disturbing.
And the way they portray their sibling dynamic is horrible.
Yeah, they all they do throughout the show is constantly bicker and argue at each other.
At least, like I said, sure, in the original they did that as well, but it was balanced out by these three having redeemable qualities and show that they do care for each other.
Want to know how much that the girls don't care about each other in this show? Bubbles and Buttercup were willing to trade Blossom's soul in order to get money for a motor sled.
Best siblings ever. And yet, they made the most unforgivable sin of who they assassinated the worst.
Professor Utonium.
To make, and I'm gonna know, and I know people use this meme, but it's a well-known meme. What did they do to Professor Utonium?
They turned a caring father figure into an absolute idiot. Like
the episode Quarantine alone should solidify how much they butchered Utonium.
Yes. Professor Utonium in that episode was basically locked the girls and Mojo Jojo in the same room with each other while being under the impression that one of them is going to turn into a porky swine monster, and he does not care about the possibility of two of them getting eaten by this porky swine monster.
Father of the Year. And also, the motivation they gave for why he created the girls is such an insulting slap in the face. So you mean to tell me that he only wanted to create the girls because he was jealous that someone created the perfect little boy?
Yes, that is literally the reason.
Such bullshit. Even though he created the girls by accident. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he created the girls because he wanted someone to care for.
But apparently not. That's thrown out the window in this show. And do you want to know? What makes this show even worse? This show was not made to be a reboot of the Powerpuff Girls. It's apparently meant to be a follow-up to the original show.
What a load of donkey shit. Like there's a lot of things wrong with this reboot. The pitiful attempt modernization, the character assassination, and the hypocrisy. Like, I'm just gonna say it. This is worse than Teen Titans Go.
Yes. At least with Teen Titans Go, that was not meant to be a sequel to the original Teen Titans. It was meant to be a comedic spin-off.
Like, and also, we all know who's responsible for why this reboot turned out as awful as it did. Julia Vickerman.
Yeah, she apparently she was one of the people behind the infamous Painbow episode.
And knowing what she did behind the scenes, yeah, and it explains a lot about all the issues in this show.
But also, there's another factor. Cartoon Network only wanted this show so that they could sell toys.
So they didn't even want to make a show for the sake of artistic merit.
Yes.
Congratulations. You're no different than Cocomelon. In fact, yeah, the writing of this show is comparable to Cocomelon. Would you believe that the writing of this show is comparable to Cocomelon?
Yes, but also on top of that, I'd say that the writing in this show is comparable to something like Surf's Up 2 Wave Mania, not existing because of wanting to be a follow up to the original, but also but it was because the company wanted to milk the franchise dry while also not caring about how they portray its characters.
When I first heard about the Powerpuff Girls reboot coming out, I was like, it didn't look so bad. And when I first watched it, yeah, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. But then years later, I grew to fucking despise it and consider it to be the worst cartoon reboot I've ever seen. Well, unless you count Adult Party cartoon, which that was sure managed to be worse.
Yeah, yeah, that show is worse. Although in terms of Adult Party cartoon, it was created by the same people who made person who made the original Ren and Stimpy, but the guy had sinister intentions, and the network gave John Kay all creative freedom that he couldn't do for the original show, which is why that show ended up becoming which is why the Adult Party cartoon ended up becoming an absolute disaster.
Like, if I had the choice between Powerpuff Girls 2016, Thundercats Roar, or Thundercats Roar, I'd actually would pick Thundercats Roar. Because at least it wasn't made by people who had creepy intentions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I fully agree. Though Thundercats Roar is its own disaster in of itself, mainly because of how obnoxious that show is.
Like, this shit got 3 seasons. Like, Powerpuff Girls 2016 got 3. It got 3 motherfucking seasons. Like, let me check. Let me see how this series got. Again, because yeah, it got 3 fucking seasons.
And when you take the amount of episodes into mind without counting the individual segments and just pair the episodes up together, that makes for a total of 60 of these episodes, half hours. 60 half hours of this garbage.
Like, would I ever want to binge this series? No. Like, it's not worth binging that many episodes. I am not subjecting myself to that shit. This might be one of the worst shows Cartoon Network has ever released.
I mean, other than say the Problem Solvers, mainly because of the fact that that show would actually give you seizures.
I almost am tempted to not even consider binging that series. Like, I don't think anyone can binge the Problem Solvers. I didn't even take The Annoying Orange over this show. Like, The High Version's Adventures of the Annoying Orange is somehow a better show than Powerpuff Girls 2016. Let that sink in. So yeah,
and it's ironic that Powerpuff Girls 2016 came out in the year of 2016, considering the fact that in 2016 alone, we got Ice Age Collision Course and season 10 of The Fairly Odd Parents. What a wild coincidence, because those that year was the year when we thought that that these three franchises had their worst moments. Until the early 2020s came around. The Fairly Odd Parents with Fairly Odder, Ice Age with the Adventures of Buck Wild, and of course the potential disaster that was the CW show.
A show that hasn't even came out, and I don't think we're going to be talking about it on this year's stream. Because thank God, from what I know of, it's canned.
Yes, and thank goodness as well, because if that series was released, it would definitely be the worst Powerpuff Girls series.
So yeah, I despise this reboot and everything it stands for. Time for some final thoughts on Powerpuff Girls as a whole. To give our final thoughts on Powerpuff Girls as a whole, the first 4 seasons were definitely the best. Up to the movie, were some of the best this show has ever had. Then came Chris. Then until the movie bombed, and once Chris Savino came on board, everything went downhill.
And of course, things just hit a new low when we got Powerpuff Girls 2016.
Like, the only possible exception you can watch everything is after season 4 is maybe some episodes of 5 and 6 that are actually good, and Powerpuff Girls Z. I don't even think that even the best episode of the 2016 series is even worth watching. Like not even the best episode. Powerpuff Girls 2016 is worth sitting through because you have to suffer through dog shit to get there.
Yes. Yes. And like even if you were to ignore all of the alarming content and how the show how the show basically assassinates its characters, the show just comes across like it was made in like the 1970s with how overly restricted that the action feels, and not to mention either. Around the exact same time in which Powerpuff Girls 2016 came out, there were a lot of better options that you could go with, even on Cartoon Network.
So yeah, here's how I would watch Powerpuff Girls media: the first 4 seasons, the movie, and maybe some episodes of season 5 and 6 and Powerpuff Girls Z. Anything else can be ignored.
Yes. Powerpuff Girls 2016 is up there with Surf's Up 2, Wave Mania, and possibly possibly Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate as one of the biggest examples of how basically making a product that character assassinates its characters, and also being made not for creative integrity, but because they want to milk the franchise dry.
And that's practically all we have for the Powerpuff Girls as a franchise. So hopefully this September, we'll finally tackle the Toy Story franchise. I've been putting off for quite a while, so I think it's finally time to talk about that franchise. So with that out of the way, see ya. Adios.
Adios.